is Sunday the 30th of June and I am here for a Flosstube update. It's been 3 weeks since my last video. I have done a fair bit of stitching, so I just wanted to pop in, do a quick little update of what I've accomplished and what my plans are going to be for July. It's finally summer here. Up until this week we were still only having like 12 degrees Celsius and it was like cold still for summer. So it is now the day before Canada Day. Canada's birthday is tomorrow, the 1st of July, and it is beautiful and lovely here. I'm sure it is at least 20, 22 degrees today with no breeze. So it actually feels nice and warm, which is a fantastic change. So I'm going to hop right into it. I'm going to talk about whips, what I've worked on with my cross stitch in the last 3 or 4 weeks, a little stitchy meetup that I had with some local ladies here. I'm going to talk about a giveaway, and I'm also going to talk about my plans for July, as well as some knitting and a summer make-along that I'm participating in. So without further ado, let's get started. So for cross stitching, I worked on, let me see, 4 whips since you saw me last. My last video I was working on Old World Map. I didn't bring that up from downstairs. I didn't get a huge amount of additional progress since I showed it in the last video. There was some, but I'll show it the next time I pull it out. So what I worked on, I guess, in the last 3 weeks, let's start with Folk Witch. I pulled this back out. This is a Gecko Rouge chart that I'm doing for the lovely Jay over at Mortuary Stitches. It's a full coverage design, and this is what I did during the week I had it out on rotation. I started this page here. So this is a page, this actually is the, how can I do this better? This is actually the cutoff for the page here, and then it's a partial page on this side. So there you go. This is being stitched 1/1 on 25 count. And I don't know, I can't remember what this fabric is called. It's quite stiff fabric, almost like Ada would be, but it's pre-gridded in 20 by 20 blocks. I don't know what that's called. I've never ordered pre-gridded fabric, and I don't grid my fabrics, so it's something that came with this kit when Jay purchased it, but I can't remember what it's called. But there's my progress. She is coming right along, and I'm quite pleased. I've been doing the 2,400 stitches a month challenge in the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook group, and I hit my 2,400 for May. I am partway into my 2,400 for June, which I'm not going to finish for June, but they let you finish it whenever you can. Like, you can go back and update your stitches. So I will update my stitches with my 2,400 once I have them finished. The next thing I worked on, I participated in the 24 hours of cross stitch challenge that was put out. I believe it was started by Jen and her mom over at, I think Jen's channel name on YouTube is Quirks and Stitches. I think that's right. I'll link it down below. There's also a Facebook group for 24 hours of cross stitch. Originally, it was, I think, like an actual literal 24 hours of cross stitch to see how much you could get done in 24 hours. But last month, she changed the challenge slightly so that you could stitch 24 hours within a 48-hour period on this weekend in June, which was fantastic for people like me who work. I had a 12-hour shift during that 48-hour period. I had the Friday off, but I had to work night shifts on the Saturday and Sunday, two 12-hour shifts. And so I had to sleep in between there. So I didn't make the 24 hours within the 48-hour window, but I almost did. And I was extremely pleased with my progress. So I worked on my Long Dog Sampler's Death by Cross Stitch piece for that challenge. And what I decided to do, because I have this whole top section done, I have started over here, I have this big block in the middle here done. So I decided I was going to pick the page with the alphabet on it, and I was going to work on that. And I actually got a page finish during that weekend. So here it is. So this is the alphabet page on Death by Cross Stitch. I am stitching this on 25 count Lugana antique white, 1/1, and I'm using DMC 939. I think the blue is showing up a bit there today. Sometimes when I show it, it looks more black, but it's actually navy blue. And I was posting pictures of this on Instagram, and some people made comments about missing letters. And no, I did not make a mistake. It is charted that way. There is a reason that if you look on samplers, some of the letters will be missing. On this one specifically, I think it's missing the J, the Q, and the V. I'll try and put a link down below to an article that speaks a little bit about why letters are missing in samplers. It has to do with, I think, the heritage behind the people that traditionally started stitching these. And I could be misspeaking, but I think some of them were Dutch, possibly immigrants, and they didn't have a use for those letters at the time that the samplers were done. So there are a lot of traditional antique samplers that are stitched missing those particular letters. So I'll try and put a link down below to a good article that explains that way better than I can. So I was really pleased with my progress. Loving that. Still in love with this design. And I typically stitch on this one for Friday off the grid stitching, but I did pull it out and work on that entire weekend. So there we go. The next one I worked on is going to be my Edgar Allan Poe sampler. This is a sampler. Now I just printed off a black and white copy because I don't have a color printer here at the house. This was in Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition from 2013 that I purchased a PDF copy. You're not going to be able to see it very well, but at the top is my name and it says I purchased a PDF copy. This is the sampler, and unfortunately I can't show it to you in color because this is what I have. It's the Edgar Allan Poe sampler. I am stitching this 2/2 on 14 count, some sort of linen that I got in a package from Michael's that was twice the size of this, but I cut it down because I could fit 2 pieces that are about the same size on this. And this is where I've gotten. So originally I just had the gate done, and I had started, I think I had the stump done, the gate, and I had started this border. Well, I worked my way up so I could see where the corner turned, and I filled in the skyline, that orangey sunset looking skyline with some more branches, and I counted up to the, this is a crescent moon. I just haven't finished the crescent there. So I'm sort of pleased with that progress. As you can see, I use my hoop to stitch this because I can just throw my hoop in here and just stitch, holding it in my hand, and away you go. Oh, speaking of my hand, no brace on today. I've taken it off for a little while to give my wrist a little bit of a break from the brace. My tendonitis has come back with a vengeance in my thumb. So it doesn't affect my dexterity like with my fingers and all of that, but it affects my ability to pinch or grip something. It's quite sore, so I can move my hand like this, but if I were to pick up something, like if I were to pick up my water bottle like that where I have to grip it so it doesn't fall out of my hand, it pains. And it also affects my ability to put my thumb across. So what it does is it affects this tendon right here. So I wear a brace and it just isolates this section of my hand and the thumb. And after a little while, the inflammation comes down and my thumb feels better, and away you go. So I took it off while I'm doing the video. I will put it back on before I pick up my stitching this afternoon. It's improved to the point that I can kind of hold the hoop with the brace on, because I can kind of stick the brace in. I can stick the hoop in between the brace and it holds it, and my fingers hold up and I can stitch with my left hand. I'm not left-handed, but I do stitch with my left hand, or I can stitch with my left hand. So that was it. I'm on to now the last cross-stitch piece I've worked on in the last 3 weeks, and it's my Tapestry sampler by Pat Rogers. I don't have the chart here with me because it is down by my stitchy spot, but this is where I've gotten on it. Da da da! Isn't that lovely? I love, love, love. See if I can get that to focus. Focus. Come on, focus, focus. There we go. I love the colors in this. There is no back stitching. There's no back stitching. All of the definition in the flowers and the letters are done strictly using very, very intelligent use of color and shading. I mean, how gorgeous is that? Yeah, love this piece. I'm stitching this on an old piece of 18 count oatmeal Aida, and I'm using 2 strands of floss on the 18 count, so it's excellent coverage. This was something I had in my stash. It's old enough that I had taped it. So this piece of Aida is probably 25 years old, 23 years old. I had originally had the intent of using it for some Christmas ornaments, which you can see that didn't get done. So I decided to use it for this piece because I thought it would just really look good with those colors, and I was right. So I think there's one more flower that goes here, and then I turn, now it's not focusing again. There's one more flower here, and then I turn. So if I have to pick this guy out, I will. But I don't think so. I think he's going to be just, because he's over enough that even if I wanted a bit of fabric showing, I think he's hidden. But I may cut him out or stick, like just seam rip him out or something just to get rid of him. So this is the Tapestry sampler by Pat Rogers. It's no longer available. I'm sorry. I happened to find this on a Stash on Load site on Facebook, and someone knew I was looking for it. They sent me a message and said, hey, this chart, I saw it. It's here. Do you want it? And I was like, absolutely. And Bob's your uncle, and I have the chart. So Allie from Allie's Stitching Studio also has a Pat Rogers design that I like, and she loves this one. So I think when I'm done, the chart is going to get mailed to her in Australia, and when she's done hers, I think I have dibs on that one that she has, so I can stitch that one. We're just going to trade. So that's that. That is all my stitching. So I did have a stitchy meetup. So I got together with Patty from 4 Boys and an Old Girl, and oh my gosh, Her name has just escaped me. Is it Andrea? Patty has her own cross-stitching store on Etsy, 4 boys and an NL girl. I'll put the link down below to her. And the other gal, oh my God, you're going to kill me. I'm sure your name's Andrea maybe, but I can't remember. It's probably not. I know on Instagram, she goes by, Tuxie Twins Stitches. So I'll put links to her Instagram down below. I met up with the 2 of them for coffee and some stitching because they're both local. And I had won a giveaway over on Patty's Flosstube a couple of months ago. And so when I got there, she had it for me. It is part of the Lizzie Kate's yearbook. This is the patterns for March and April. And I think if you collected all of them, you could do an entire wall hanging or long piece. And it came with the charms, which I can't show you because they're stuck to the inside of where the chart is. But it's a cute little piece. It's a small, or it's a couple of smalls. They are really cute designs. I might actually stitch them because I'm thinking of doing some smalls for some baskets, like for, you know, like holidays and stuff. Just something seasonal that I can change out. And most of my stuff is way too big to put in a basket. So that might be what gets done with these. So thanks very much, Patty, for that. Patty, like I said, also has her own Etsy store. So she, I guess as a thank you to some of her customers, she designed a chart for the 2019 summer season, and it's called the Happy Camper 2019 chart. I'm just going to quickly flash this because this is the actual chart, even though it's a freebie, but I would prefer if you went to her site to download it, and I'll put a link down to her. That way you can check her out. But this is what it looks like. I'm holding it far enough back that you can't see to stitch, but yeah, that's the chart. I thought that was super cute. She had a copy of that when we got together. And she also, I purchased from her, she sells needle minders. And so I purchased from her a needle minder. And this, how adorable is this? It's a cute little row house. These magnets that she has on here are like wicked magnets. Like you could put your car keys on there. I guess because they're a little larger in diameter, they're super, super strong. So that is so cute. So I had purchased one of these for myself because it's my birthday month. And she kindly gave me one to use as a giveaway here on my channel. So I'll chat a little bit about that later on, but I did buy one of these for my birthday. So that was one thing I bought for my birthday. The other thing I picked up for my birthday is the Apothecary sign chart. This is a chart that was designed. It was designed by Tuxie Twins Stitches, who, yeah, I'm having a total blank. I can't remember. Anyway, she was designing this chart as a fundraiser for the James J. O'Mara Pharmacy Museum, which is a local museum here. It is a period museum from, I want to say, let's see, the late 1800s. Yeah, in downtown St. John's. This chart, the proceeds from this chart is $8 to purchase the chart. It's a PDF download, which you can get, and I will put the link down below to where you can purchase this. And the proceeds go to aid as a fundraiser for the museum. So it's a fabulous little chart. It's well designed. She has the DMC listed on the back. She stitched it using a 14 count Aida, using 2/1, and you can follow the pharmacy itself at Pharmacy Museum NL on Instagram. And but I will put a link of where you can purchase the chart down below. I think it's through her Instagram. There's probably a link on the pharmacy's Instagram as well. So it was for a good cause, and I wanted to support that, so I bought one of those as well. So that is all my stitchy stuff. Two other things. I want to speak about a giveaway, and I want to speak about my knitting and my plans for July. So that's 3 things, really, isn't it, when you think of it? So, giveaway. This was my birthday month. June was my birthday. I didn't go all out. I didn't buy much stitching things other than the needle minder and that chart, only because I have enough. You know, I just came home from Australia with some things I had purchased when I was away, so I was happy just to work on what I have. So, I'm not sure. I checked I also had a Flossiversary this year on Flosstube that I have no idea how I missed that, but it was back in February. My Instagram, I think, is only a few people away from hitting 4,000 followers on Instagram, which blows my mind. And my channel on YouTube here, I think, is up to, yeah, it's up to 5,995 subscribers. So I'm almost at the 6,000 mark. Like, can you see that number there? Woohoo! No, you can't, because it's not going to focus. Anyway, blows my mind. So as a thank you to everybody that's been following me and interacting with me, as a thank you to this entire community, I'm just throwing together a little quick giveaway. This is not a whole lot of anything special. It was just some stuff that I had downstairs in my stash, and seeing as how Patty gave me a needle minder, I thought, if I'm going to do a giveaway for that, I might as well throw in a couple of charts. So, this needle minder by 4 boys and an NL girl, if you would like to be entered into a giveaway for this lovely magnetic needle minder, please leave a comment down below. I don't know. Leave a comment down below mentioning something about a needle minder. And I will do a draw based on that and see who gets it. And I will mail it out to you. Okay, so mention in the comments down below the word needle minder somehow along the way if you would like to win that. I went through my stash downstairs and I came across some old charts that I will never stitch. My husband picked these up, I think, at a thrift store, like fairly recently, but they're old charts. And I'm never going to stitch them, and it's pointless for them to languish downstairs. So in true Michelle Bendy Stitchy fashion, I'm just going to get rid of them. So the first one is a Leisure Arts pamphlet, a leaflet. It's called When Angels Pray. There are 4 separate charts in this leaflet. Okay. And there are some alternate, I guess, finishes on the back of those designs. If you would like this chart, somewhere in your comment down below, please say that you'd like to stitch the angels. Okay, that's that one. This one is, again, a Leisure Arts leaflet. And it looks to be in decent condition. It is Heirloom Bouquet. I do like these, but in all honesty, I don't think I'll ever stitch them. I already have a floral trellisy looking piece in my house that is a stitch of wild roses, and I don't see myself doing another florally piece like to add. So if anybody would like these, just mention in the comments down below, I would like to stitch the flowers. No, yeah, flowers. Just say I would like to stitch the flowers. All right. And this one is a booklet, so it's a little heavier. This is a booklet that came from Just Cross Stitch. I'm just going to show you. And it's older, but I don't know the year. Oh, 95. Copyrighted 1995. And it's like a little bunch of cherubs called dreamsicles. So if you would like this one, leave a comment saying, I would like to stitch the dreamsicles. Dreamsicles, there's the spelling. D-R-E-A-M-S-I-C-L-E-S. Okay, and I can just pop those into an envelope and get them off in the mail to you fairly quickly. And last but not least, someone had gifted me several charts in an envelope one time, and I went through them. This one is not really something I don't think I would stitch. It's a tiny modernist piece, and it's called The Last Unicorn. And I mean, it's a nice chart, but it's just not something that's my taste. Like, I probably wouldn't stitch that. So if you would like this one, just say, I'd like to stitch the unicorn. Okay. This chart is 2 pages and it's in color. So there you go. That's that one. So those are going to be the giveaways, the 4 charts and the needle minder. Just leave a comment down below and I'll do a drawing based on those and upload a video. It is the end of June now. I will aim to do that by the what? I want to give people enough time to have a look. Well, let's say the end of July, because it's summer and people are probably going to be busy and may not be watching much Flosstube. So let's say that the draw is going to be done on the 31st of July. Okay, so have your entries in, have your comments in by then if you would like to be put into the draw for either of those. So if you would like a chance, or an extra chance, I should say, to win Patty's Lovely Needle Minder, head on over to Instagram and follow me on Instagram. I will put up a post regarding the giveaway, and if you like that post and on Instagram, then I will put your name in for the giveaway. Like that post and leave me a comment saying me please or something like that, and I will enter you for the giveaway. So you have to like the post and leave a comment. All right, so that's the end of the giveaway information. Please do not mention in any of your comments anywhere the word giveaway. I don't want to I just don't want there to be a flood of people follow me. You also had to follow my Flosstube, my stitching channel here on YouTube. And that's it. Okay, on to the last thing. Second last thing, knitting. Remember that yoga shawl I was knitting? Where is the yoga shawl? How can I get a picture of that on here? Let's see. Oh, I know. Bear with me 1 second. So I was knitting a yoga shawl by Andrea Mowry, and it was going really well. I was enjoying knitting it. I had put up a picture of it recently looking like this. As you can see, I had a fair bit done. I had finished all the chevron border and I was stitching into the body of the shawl. The further I got, the less pleased I was with it. Not the stitching itself, but the gauge. Because it was just a shawl and something you were going to wrap around yourself, I didn't think that the width of it would really matter to me that much. But the more I got thinking about it, it is going to matter. Because although it's a wrap, it is also a wearable garment because it's done with button holes, and you can actually button it up and drape it, and you actually wear it like a poncho. So the issue you're going to run into is that the width of it, when it was turned on its side, you know, to wrap it around yourself and button it up like a poncho, if that width wasn't deep enough, it's only going to come down, you know, it's not going to hang down like a poncho. It's not going to be wide enough. I measured and I measured and I remeasured, and I was at least 3, maybe 4 inches too narrow. So as Jana from YouTube's Purl Together says, I did some righteous ripping. I pulled the whole thing out. I unraveled the whole thing, and I thought about it, and I decided to experiment, and I restarted it holding my yarn double. Now, the yarn that I was knitting with is the Wool-like from Michaels. It is super thin. And I thought that this was like a sock yarn, like a fingering weight yarn. It's actually a little smidge thinner, I think. So I changed my needle size and started holding it double, which it's not really as thick as a DK weight, but it's not as thin as a fingering weight now. It's like in between. And I restarted the piece, and I am loving it. I like the fabric a lot better. I like the feel of it better because I think it's going to drape nice, but I think that the fabric is softer and squishier, which is going to be nicer for our colder weather here. And this is what I've gotten done on my restart. So the stitch definition is nice. You can see the chevrons coming out really well. And the thickness of this, like I said, is nice. And when I measured it, I had it on a longer cable when I started, so I could really, like, you know, pull it out so it would lay at least the right amount. It is, I think the yoga shawl calls for 28 inches, and this one is actually 29, maybe 30. So it's a little bit deeper. I think it's 29 inches, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it being bigger. I just didn't want it smaller. I didn't want it more narrow. And I think I'm really going to be pleased with the drape and the size of this when it's done. So I have restarted it. That is something that some people as knitters would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did all that work and then you just ripped it out. It is what it is. I'm still learning, and I enjoy the knitting. The knitting is a really nice process, sorry. It's almost meditative once you get into it, and so I set myself back a month. Big deal. I'll just reknit it. It's not that big of a deal. And at the end, I'm going to have a piece that I'm going to be pleased with, I think, that I'm going to want to wear, versus having something that I'm going to be like, oh, maybe I should have ripped that back, and thinking about it and not having done it. So I've always been like that. Go big or go home. Just rip it out, start it over. It's not the end of the world. So there you go. That is my new restart on my yoga shawl, which I think she's recently changed the name of, and it's now called the Everyday Shawl. It's an Andrea Mowry piece. Drea Renee Knits, she goes by. Okay, so that's it. That is all of my whips, my stitching, my updates. Very last thing I want to mention is what are my plans for July. More of the same. I want to keep stitching, rotating through my pieces. I want to keep working on the yoga shawl, but I have 2 new things that I'm going to start in July. No, sorry, 1 new thing I'm going to start in July. I had been watching Stitching the High Notes on YouTube, and I've been following her for a while, and she hosts a summer make-along every year to encourage knitters and crocheters and sewers to make, I guess, to increase your summer garment wear. And I just saw this beautiful Cirrus Summer Tea by Expression Fiber Arts. It was a free pattern for a limited time. I downloaded that. I'm going to start that July 1st as for July to enter that mail. And I'm also going to be doing the Tour de France cross-stitching challenge on Full Coverage Fanatics cross-stitch group on on Facebook. And basically you can sign up to be a team. I'm doing Team Yellow, which is you have to stitch the same number of stitches as there are kilometers ridden for that leg of the race that day. So I did a Tour de France stitching journal page in my journal. And these are the dates. The Tour de France starts on the 6th. It ends on the 28th. Each leg, these are the number of kilometers that they ride. So you have to do that number of stitches. And there's a couple of rest days for the Tour de France. So those rest days you can use to catch up. So there you go. That's everything. So I hope everyone has a fabulous couple of weeks. I'll pop back in hopefully mid-July, share with you my progress on my new cast on for that summer tea. I will show you what progress I've gotten on, if any, of my yoga shawl and any cross-stitching progress, of course. Take care. Have a fabulous couple of weeks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.